Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we are going to be doing the very long-awaited video, the video that so many of you guys have been wanting to see, the subject that so many of you guys have been wanting me to talk about, and that is stretching my second lobes. Yes, I know, the secret is out. So many of you guys have noticed from previous videos or pictures, you've been noticing that my second lobes are looking a little larger, a little more girthy, and you guys have been asking me, Bree, are you stretching your second lobes? Can you do a video on it? How big are they at now? How big are you gonna go? Etc, etc, etc. So in today's video, that's what we're gonna be talking about. Yes, I have been stretching my second lobes. If you guys have been following me for a while, if you guys have been following me through my stretching journey, I do have my first lobe stretched up to a 00 or 10 millimeter, however you guys like to measure it. And they have been at 10 millimeter for quite a while now. That is a size that I am going to stay with for a while. I know a lot of people have been asking me if I'm going to be sizing up. Not for a while. I do really like the look of the 00 size, and that is the size that I'm going to stay with. First things first, I know a lot of you are going to ask me where I got my plugs. These are from Amazon. They were very expensive. They were like $25. So Amazon is where I got my Michael Myers plugs, and they're literally some of my favorites. Moving on. Even though I knew that I wanted to stay at 00 for my first lobes, I was getting a little bit antsy and I was really wanting to stretch something else. If you guys also watched that video, I did also stretch my nipple piercings up from a 16 gauge to a 14 gauge. Holy ouch. So after that, I was like, well, now I want to stretch something else. What do I want to stretch? And I knew I didn't want to stretch my septum. I'm just not into that look. And I was looking in the mirror and I was looking at my ears and I was like, hold on. I have second lobes that need to be touched, that need to be stretched. Wow, this is sounding so incredibly dirty. So I decided to whip out my stretching kit that I got from Urban Body Jewelry, not sponsored. I literally bought my stretching kit all with my own money, and I whipped it out and I just started stretching my second lobes. It was really, really easy. I originally had like 20 gauge, just regular earrings in my second lobes. Went from a 20 to a 16, that was pretty easy, and then I went to a 14, and then I went to a 12, and then I went to a 10. All of those steps were pretty easy, and for those of you who are going to ask, well, why didn't you film that journey? Because I figured it would get a little bit redundant, because I literally filmed every single stretch with my first lobes right here, that I was like, well, if I did the same thing for my second lobes, I feel like it would just get kind of boring. So I got my ears stretched all the way up to what they are now, and my second lobes are currently stretched up to an 8 gauge. I know, fucking crazy, right? That went so fast. So I've had my second holes stretched to an 8 gauge for maybe three-ish months, maybe longer. I haven't really been keeping track, if I'm honest with you. And I figured, like, okay, now's the time to make a full video on it. A lot of you guys have been noticing, a lot of you guys have been asking, and we're also going to try something today that I'm really nervous to try. We're going to try to go from 8 gauge to the terrifying 6 gauge. If you guys remember when I stretched my first lobes and we went from an 8 to a 6, the first video, first of all, was a fail. And the second video was successful, but it was very painful. So we're going to attempt to go to a 6 gauge today. Now, I did attempt to already go to a 6 gauge about a month ago, but my ears were just not ready. But we are going to try it today. To talk a little bit more about this was totally just a random thing. You know, I was sitting in front of my computer, I was editing, and I was like, you know what, while I'm sitting here, I'm going to stretch my second lobes, because why not? I will go ahead and take out my first plug so I can show you guys how much room I have, because I have more room than you would think. Like, when my ears are just relaxed like this, like, it looks like they're pretty crowded, but I actually have quite a bit of room in between, so I feel like I could definitely get up to a 4 in my second holes, but I'm not 100% sure. We're just going to try to get up to a 6 today. And the reason why I wanted to make this video now is because, honestly, they've been starting to bug me, and not like they haven't been hurting or anything, but they have been doing this weird thing where I will wake up in the morning, see if I can get it to mimic it, and my ear will literally swallow this, and I have to constantly like push it back out every single day, and sometimes like it really gets sucked in there to the point where it like is almost falling out the back, and it's really been annoying me. So I'm like, well, you know, if you're going to keep doing that, we're either going to try to stretch you up or we're just going to take you out, because that is so incredibly annoying. And like I said, I got up to an 8 gauge pretty fast. Like, my second lobes were not kidding around. Like, they were ready to be stretched, okay? Like, let me just tell you. Okay, so I'm just going to unscrew my first ones here. These are like the screw back ones, so we have more room and stuff like that. But yeah, here are what my first lobes are looking like. Here's what they look like with no jewelry in them. They are a little bit oily because I had vitamin E oil on not too long ago, so they are a little bit on the oily side. There's what my first lobes look like. They're definitely still pretty small, so if I wanted to take out my plugs for forever, I'm pretty sure they would shrink back down pretty quickly. Here's just a better view of what my second plugs are looking like. As you can see, 8 gauge. They've been like stretching pretty nicely. We're gonna try to stretch you up, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I honestly don't know if this is going to work because 6 gauge is a pretty gnarly stretch. It is one of the most painful stretches to do. So I'm just going to wipe everything down with an alcohol wipe. And I am so sorry that it's taken me so long to make a video like this, because I know so many people have been asking, but I didn't think you guys would like give a shit enough to see it again, you know what I mean? I have everything that I need right here in order to get up to a 6 gauge. I have my 6 gauge taper right here, which, this looks intimidating. I also have my 6 gauge plugs, and I also have some gloves here, and I also have some KY jelly, you know, some lubrication, because that will definitely help with the stretching process. And this is literally my last video that I'm filming for the day. It's 2 o'clock. I have plenty of time to stretch. So we are going to take our time. We are going to go very slow. Like I said, I don't know how this is going to go, but I'm ready for it. Fingers crossed that everything works out good. So if you guys want to attempt to stretch my second lobes up to a 6 gauge, surprise, I know a lot of you probably weren't expecting this video, but hi, how are ya? Then let's go ahead and get started. I'm actually gonna take out my thirds just so we have even more room. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm just going to put on some gloves, or just one glove for now. And I'm just gonna like start playing with my ear, just kind of massage it a little bit. I do play with them on the daily. It just helps promote blood flow, and it does make the stretching process a little bit easier. I'm just gonna kind of stretch it around and play with it while the 8 gauge is in there. I want to leave that in there for as long as possible. So I'm just gonna pull and stretch and play. So how's everyone's day going? Are you doing well? Good, good. And just a warning, just a little disclaimer, my ear is going to be turning very red. One, because I'm literally pulling on it and playing with it, okay? I'm trying to promote blood flow. So my ear is going to turn very red. I know that for some reason that concerns a lot of people, but if you pull and play on your skin long enough, it's gonna turn red. I know, science, right? Whoa! Next step is I am going to take out the 8 gauge plug right there. And I'm going to take some of my KY. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. I'm going to put some on my finger. And we're just going to put some on the front and back. Wow, that's a lot, but that is okay. And we're also going to put some lube on the 6 gauge taper. And don't be afraid to use a lot of lube. Definitely don't be afraid to go slow with this process. You definitely want to take your time. Okay, I have a mirror right here, and we are just going to put it in. So we're just going to push a little bit. Okay. Okay, it's almost through, guys, almost through. I knew they were ready, though. Like, I totally knew. All right, boom, there we go. Okay, so the real test, though, just because we got the taper through doesn't necessarily mean shit, all right? Now we have to try to get the 6 gauge plug through. And if the 6 gauge plug does not go through, then your ear is not ready. Fuck yeah. Yes! Yes! We fucking did it! Because I don't know if you guys remember, but when we tried to do this with my first lobes, when we tried to go from a 6 gauge. I was able to get the taper through, but I couldn't get the plug through, meaning that my ears weren't quite ready. Now, fucking beautiful. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. So I'm just gonna pop the little O-ring on the back here. Okay, there we go, guys. There we go. We got her up to a 6 gauge. Now we just have one ear left, and this one, I don't know how this one's gonna go. I don't know. I haven't really been able to identify, like, which ear is my loose ear and which ear is my tight ear. Everything that we just did on this ear, we are going to do on this ear. I am so glad I got that done. I will be so much happier when this ear is done, because that 6 gauge stretch, man, it fucking sucks. But yeah, see how like my ear constantly will swallow this guy? It's really fucking annoying. I just want to make sure everything is nice and clean. Again, I'm going to pop on another glove. These gloves are a little bit bigger than I'm used to, and we're just going to do the same thing. We're just going to massage, we're just going to play with the ear. We're going to promote some blood flow, get it nice and ready. I never realized how sexual stretching ears is. Like, just like the vocabulary and stuff you have to use, it's like, okay. Now, obviously, if you are going to be stretching your ears, you're going to want to play with your ears a lot if you want to continue to go up. I'm just doing it right now just to kind of get some extra blood flow there, but I do massage and play with them all the time. You can't just massage them 5 minutes before and expect it to go smoothly. You really want to make sure that you're massaging them on a pretty regular basis. Okay, I think that is pretty good. So I'm going to remove this 8 gauge right here. KY. Pop it on the ear, front and back. Take some more KY, rub it on the taper right here, and here we go again. Definitely take your time and go slow. There is absolutely no rushing that should be involved with ear stretching. It should just be a totally slow, relaxed experience. You don't just want to shove it through. That could be very bad, and you can end up with a blowout and literally going to look like a full-blown cat butthole. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this side, my right side, is my tight side. And I think that was the same with my first lobes too, because this side is definitely a lot more painful. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm just letting it sit here in my ear for a little bit and just kind of let my ear get accustomed to it, and I'm not, you know, forcing it. So I'm just going to let it hang out like this in my ear for a little bit, push it all the way through, and then attempt to put the tunnel in. Now, I don't know if we're going to be able to get this tunnel in. It is a little bit more sore than it was over here. And then here's what this ear looks like with my double zeros in next to the 6 gauge. So in case any of you guys wanted to get a look of that, that's what it looks like. So I'm just going to put my jewelry back in my left ear. So this ear is done, and we're just letting this one kind of simmer and sit a little bit. Just kind of let the lube get in there, kind of, you know, let things stretch out a little bit. And then once that kind of like stingy feeling goes away, I push it in a little bit more, let it sit there, push it in a little bit more, let it sit there. So I'm going to do this for about 5 minutes, and then I will come back once we are ready to attempt to put the tunnel in. But I did not miss this stretch, you guys. I did not miss it. I will be back in about 5 minutes to try to put the tunnel in. Be back later. I need a drink. Caffeine-free Coke is just so much better than any other pop. Okay guys, so it has been about 10 minutes. I've just been letting my ear kind of simmer. Now we are going to attempt to put the tunnel in. I am going to take just a little bit more of the KY and just put that on the tunnel as well. And now we're just going to try to follow it through. All right, yay! Oh my gosh, we did it. It is in. Both ears are officially stretched to a 6 gauge. Oh my goodness. I'm just going to wipe off some of this lube because it's a little messy. The ear was definitely a lot more painful than this ear. 6 gauge is literally no joke, you guys. Like if you're currently at an 8 gauge and you're super anxious to get up to a 6, honestly, like, don't rush that shit because you really need to make sure that your ears are completely ready for that. Here are what both of my ears look like with all of my jewelry back in. As you can see, this ear has calmed down a lot. This one is still a little bit red. So pretty much the game plan for the next few days is they are going to be a little bit on the sore side. Now, I'm not in pain or anything. It's just a little bit tender. Whenever you stretch anything, it's going to be a little bit tender. That's just the name of the game. That's just how it works. That's just what happens. Next few days, I'm just going to be cleaning them really well with antibacterial soap in the shower, making sure they're dry, using my vitamin E oil to keep them moisturized and all that good stuff. And in a few days, they should honestly be just fine. And that is basically the whole story of me stretching my second lobes. I know a lot of you were kind of shocked that I did it without filming it, but here we are. Here's the full update plus the stretching video. So, I mean, if that doesn't make up for it, then I don't know what will. And I know some of you are going to ask, am I going to continue to stretch up? Am I going to go down to a 4? Am I going to stretch my third lobes? The answer that I can give you right now in this time is I don't know. My ears are going to be, my second lobes are going to be staying at a 6 gauge for quite a long time because like I said, stretching anything, you don't want to rush it. My third lobes, I really don't have any desire to stretch them, so it'll probably be just my first and second lobes that I stretch. If I do continue to go up with my second lobes, I'll probably make a video on it just to keep you guys kind of informed and updated and all that stuff. But yeah, there you go, you guys. My second lobes are indeed stretched and they are officially at a 6 gauge. I am so glad that this worked. I'm so glad I got it on camera for you guys. I'm going to get off here. I'm going to go have some lunch and just chill the rest of the day. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, as always, make sure you go down and give it a huge thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, make sure you go down and hit that red subscribe button. I do upload every 3 to 4 days here. But as the rest of you, I love you guys oh so very much, and I will see you very soon in my next video. I love you guys. Bye. Mwah.